Welcome to the Birchal Podcast. My name is Emily McFarlane. I am your host, and today I'm very, very lucky to have the two founders of Vahy with me. I've got Anna Weatherlake and Kate Mcdonald. Welcome, girls. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us, Emily. I'm very excited to be here.
So excited.
I'm really excited to have you. I mean, I'm a real perfume buff. I love a bougie fragrance, and seeing you come onto the platform got me super excited. What is the key difference between your brand versus others in the market?
Oh, so many key differences. I mean, perhaps if we talk about how we came into existence, because that's, our key difference is our why as well. Mm. So Anna and I discovered there's a fragrance labeling loophole. And we just noticed that you didn't have to label what was in the product on fragrances. You can say fragrance or denatured alcohol and put thousands of different chemicals underneath there. Oh. And we realised, from the 80s there's been spectrometers around, so you can reverse engineer all fragrances. So it's not hiding your IP from your competitors, it's just shielding it from the consumer. And we tried every single natural fragrance in the entire market. And there was just nothing that was transparent about its ingredients, nothing that was 100% natural and didn't have harmful ingredients in there, and nothing that smelled as sophisticated and high-end as synthetic fragrance. So we very naively decided to create the product that we want to use.
Naively being the key word. Very naively.
So when you're talking about the ingredients that are in perfumes, I for one didn't know that there was harmful ingredients, and obviously the biggest organ in your body is your skin. And when you're spraying something onto your skin, it is going into your body and you're absorbing it. What is the ingredient, the one main ingredient that people are unknowingly putting into their body?
Well, it's not just one.
There's many.
Yeah, there's so many. So the Environmental Working Group did a study on this. So they reverse engineered the top selling mass fragrances, and they found on average there's 14 ingredients of concern, they call them. So they're hormone disruptors, carcinogens, just ingredients you don't want anywhere near your body. Mm. And some of the worst offenders we've found is definitely synthetic musk. So if you see synthetic musk in fragrance, run for the hills. There's been a ton of studies around it, and it's got really significant health impacts, and it bioaccumulates as well.
How do you find out the ingredients? Like, how would I as a consumer look to see if synthetic musk is in the perfume I use?
You won't know, and that's the really...
This is what we're fighting for, Em. This is what we're fighting to change. We need change in this industry because you just don't know, because they label the word fragrance, and that can be, as Kate said, thousands of different chemicals, and we just don't know what they are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and we think it'll change. We think it'll be one of those things that you look back 100 years ago, I cannot believe that companies did that and people knowingly or unknowingly sprayed it on their bodies.
I'm unknowingly spraying it.
Well, I think that's been too so Kate, rewinding again, Kate and I lived together during our university years, and I've always been very much into animal rights, and both of us into clean living, and we're using clean makeup and we're using clean cleaning products. But again, the fragrance thing was just something that was over our heads. So we're hopeful that the fragrance industry is the next thing to change, and we're hopeful that we're trying to lead the change in this industry. And things are starting to move, but we need more transparency, more consumer awareness, and more education around why people should not be putting these ingredients on their skin, and why, as the consumer, they have the right to know what is in their products.
So when was the day that you discovered that these harmful products were in fragrances and you thought, this is ridiculous, we need to change this?
So my background is as a corporate lawyer, and I've done a lot in the health and wellness space historically. And so it was as in my day-to-day role that I noticed it around some labelling advice. I was like, oh, this is a little curiosity. And then I went down the wormhole of investigation and discovery. And I was just shocked. It was like an earth-changing moment. I was like, I cannot believe that companies are allowed to do this, and that they knowingly do this as well. I just thought that's wild. If you know something is harmful, is a carcinogen, you almost have an obligation not to put it in a product that someone's going to put on their bloodstream. And so, that was a really big awakening. Then came home to Anna, who was absolutely knowledgeable in all things clean beauty and clean living, and she didn't know about it either, and that was an even bigger awakening for me. So I was like, well, if someone that is really knowledgeable in this area isn't aware of this thing, there's going to be so many other people out there that aren't as well.
Not knowledgeable enough. Clearly not knowledgeable enough.
Hey.
I thought I was knowledgeable, but not knowledgeable enough, that's for sure.
So obviously you came with the knowledge then, and what from that inspired you to start your own brand?
Well, I think we just felt we've been such good friends for a long time. And again, naively, we thought, let's create this product we wanted to see, because we searched so far and so wide to find a product. We like nice things, as most people do. We wanted a sophisticated fragrance that had beautiful packaging, that smelt really good, that lasted a long time, that you could wear to, a black tie event and still have that level of sosophistication. And we just could not find anything on the market. All the products out there were straight essential oils, which is great or fine, but there wasn't anything that we would happily replace our Chanel and our Tom Ford for, in terms of all the points I just made. So we thought let's create this product, and I think we were in scent development for 4 years almost. It took such a long time. As soon as you remove those toxic synthetic ingredients, you go from having this much choice to this much choice. So
right. And one thing as well we didn't mention is that all of our ingredients, as I mentioned, limited palette, they're 100% natural. So they're compliant with the ISO standard on natural ingredients. We don't use any petrochemical lab-based synthetics at all. So it was very difficult to get there. We onboarded this amazing world-renowned perfumer who does our formulations now.
Oh,
it's
amazing.
Not Anna and I in a kitchen sink, thank God.
Oh, that's good to know.
At the uni share house in Pran, we've evolved a lot from them. But again, on to further our commitment to being 100% natural, we disclose every single ingredient in our product, which is so uncommon in the fragrance industry. Normally you'll pick up a bottle and it'll say fragrance and alcohol denat or denat alcohol. We disclose every single ingredient.
Okay, and I guess that is really good for people who have allergies, skin problems, because I imagine for a lot of people spraying a fragrance on is a risk. You're risking having an allergic reaction. Yeah. Whereas with the transparency that you're giving consumers, they're avoiding that. It comes across as safe and that you can trust the brand.
Yeah. And you can also manage, because I think a big problem is sometimes when people have allergic reaction, they don't know what it is that's causing that. Whereas if you actually are aware of, because fragrance is in every part of your products. It's in your shampoo, it's in your lip balm, it's in your body lotion, you'll see it on almost every label you look at. You don't know your dosage, and you also don't know what's causing the reaction if you don't know what is in that umbrella term fragrance.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I'm so afraid now.
Sorry. We don't mean to be fear-mongering. We're trying to create people to really compel the change they want to see, like vote with their feet about brands should be doing this. This should be the standard.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously you did 4 years in developing the actual fragrance profiles. When did you launch the brand?
We actually launched, it was a really big moment for us. We launched in partnership with COVID in March 2020.
Sponsored by.
Yes, we were sponsored by. Yeah, they had a much bigger PR machine and budget.
Yeah, so it was Vahy times COVID.
Yeah, exactly. And so we launched in March 2020 after just over 4 years of scent development. And we went through many, many highs and lows through that journey. I think the first round of scents that we almost finalised, which were amazing, we really liked them. We then discovered they'd snuck synthetics into them, so we had to go back to the drawing board and start again. And
oh, my goodness.
Along the whole way, the whole Vahy journey, Kate and I have always stood by and not faltered from our ethos and our principles that we are to produce 100% natural, fine, premium luxury fragrances that are without compromise, and we never want to sacrifice on what we started this journey for, and that is transparency, being 100% natural, being sophisticated, and all the pillars that we stand for.
Yeah, right. And obviously you're a relatively new company. To date, you've had some significant milestones in terms of traction. How did you get to where you are today? How did you get in front of new consumers? How did you break through the noise of the fragrance industry that's heavily saturated?
Lots of blood, sweat, and predominantly tears.
Many tears.
So every time I spray a bottle of Vahy, it's got your tears
10%
in it.
Anna tears and 10% Kate tears. Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean,
ethically sourced, of course.
I love it.
Well, I think we're a little bit lucky in our timing, in that greenwashing is a really massive thing at the moment, and so many companies and consumers are very critical of green tech claims and nature identical and all these types of greenwashing terms. So we're really lucky in that we had that authenticity and that we had nothing to hide. We have we call it farm to risk traceability of our ingredients. We've got all these really beautiful ingredient sourcing stories. and just absolutely sort of gorgeous, pure, natural, premium ingredients that we could really promote. And that was our point of difference by a long way, because not many other brands had that, because they didn't want to tell you that their rose oil isn't actually, beautiful rose oil. It is instead, a petrochemical. So I think that helped us shine through. And then, we grew by sort of, 800% in that in FY23, which is really exciting.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And what do you think sparked that growth trajectory?
I think it's been a mixture of a lot of things. I think it's consumer awareness. In some ways, COVID did help us, because I think people in that time really started to deep dive into their health and their wellness and what products they were using. So a lot of people learnt a lot about fragrance and what they shouldn't be using on their bodies. But it's been a real mixture of things that spurred. I think maybe the class action against Sephora, whether or not I can say that name. Not from us. But I think Kate's right. There's so many brands. Consumers are getting smarter about the greenwashing and the
sustainability. And the trends as well. I think people are demanding transparency, and a lot of brands can't and won't give that transparency, and we already have that built in. So I think that's really helpful for us. Yeah,
and does it... when you're looking at other brands and you see that they are not being transparent and, does it...
Well, it hurts us because we're in the industry and we see other brands making claims that we know aren't true, plastic free, and you can see a plastic dip tube in the actual bottle in the picture, those types of things, and you just think... It brings a distrust to the industry, so we really don't like that at all, and it's frustrating, but also it does help us because we are really authentic about things. We say how they are, and we give as much information as we possibly can on every part of our process.
It confuses the consumers as well, because as we've just been so transparent from the start, there is no BS along any part of our journey, and when there's brands in Australia or even further afield saying, we're 100% natural, but you're not actually disclosing any one of your ingredients. It's just saying people are hearing the 100% natural part, but it's complete BS. So we really want to break through that as a brand and go, no, we're 100% natural and we're transparent. Here's the ingredient.
It is interesting. I've worked in marketing previously and worked with, I won't name names, some very large-scale cosmetic brands. And they often speak about their commitment to sustainability and natural ingredients. And when I would be setting up a consumer experience, you'd be unpackaging all of these products and throwing away so much. And for me, I'm sitting there saying this is such a juxtaposition to the message that you're putting out there. How important is it to you to walk the walk?
So important.
Yeah, hugely important. And we also want to be incredibly authentic about it. For example, with fragrance, we're plastic neutral, not plastic free, because we just simply haven't been able to find an alternative to that tiny little dip tube that sits in there. The only alternative we could find was glass, which has health and safety risks.
Okay.
So we're not going to pretend that, we're plastic neutral, plastic free, but we're absolutely plastic neutral. We pull the same amount of plastic that we use every year from the seas. So we have these amazing programs in place that offset that, and we just want to be transparent about that and real about it as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really great differentiator between you and other brands, because a lot of the time you'll see brands make a commitment to, being sustainable or being natural. Yeah. But you've got both here. Yeah. Do you find that they compete against each other, these missions that you have?
You know what, we actually get that a bit, because with being 100% natural, there are some ingredients that are really scarce. And so it's very hard to say you're sustainable, you use oud. There's some ingredients that, we've avoided for those types of reasons. However, we've also been really careful with every single one of our ingredients that they're sustainably sourced. Like you can tell their sandalwood story, that beautiful farm.
Yeah, our amazing sandalwood supplier, Australian sandalwood supplier, comes from this beautiful Aboriginal community up in the Northern Territory that have 16 years of mixed generation sandalwood trees growing on their plantation. Wow. And instead of using pesticides to keep the weeds at bay, they use goats. Our orange oil, our organic orange oil, is upcycled from the organic orange juice trade. So the peels that would normally go in the bin, we harvest the oil from that. So we've got
zero waste.
Yeah, as Kate said, farm to wrist. We are across all of our ingredients, where they're coming from, what their certifications are, etc. And it's really important to us that we go that extra mile and that we're not producing a synthetic man-made sandalwood, for example, in a lab in Carnegie.
Right.
Yeah, and the example we always give of that is if you have a reconstituted orange juice versus a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice, there's a massive difference. And scent is the same. If you have the natural, pure ingredient, it's got a full-bodied profile that's way more intense, way more beautiful than, a replica of it.
How do you educate your customers and consumers about what you do and why it's important for them to choose a Vahy fragrance over something else in the market?
It's tricky, to be honest, because we don't want to. We've always been very careful at not going down, bringing down anyone else in the market or anything like that, because that's just not. That's not who we are.
Bad cop here. We have wanted to. I'm just going like this.
No, we've tried to avoid that at all costs. But I mean, I think people are catching on naturally. The forever chemicals is a really big thing at the moment. The news, the Age has been covering the impacts of forever chemicals. Another big source of forever chemicals is synthetic fragrance. And so I think people are already catching on, and I think the byproduct of that is people start becoming more and more aware of these things in their everyday life.
Yeah. I think if Jessica Albert actually said it, if you can remove one thing from your household and your life, it is synthetic fragrance.
Wow. So I know that you don't just do fragrance for body, you do it for home as well. Is it the same ethos that you've got for your home fragrances? There's no synthetic?
Yeah, we use perfume grade fragrance in our home fragrance, which is very rare. Yeah. Very expensive for us.
And how do you avoid, passing on these expenses to the consumer? Because it's a premium product at the end of the day. You get what you paid for. How do you go about, making it somewhat affordable for the everyday consumer?
Yeah, I mean, we're in an industry, so our prices are based on market pricing, comparable market pricing, but we're very lucky. The ingredients within our bottle would probably cost about 5,000 times more the ingredients within a bottle of Chance by Chanel. But where we're lucky is that the ingredients inside a bottle of Chance by Chanel cost virtually nothing. It's an illusion around the fragrance and the pricing of it all. So we're lucky in that we can still have a sustainable business, yet our cost of goods is still, 5,000 times more than leading luxury brands. So
I think the question should more be not looking at how much we're charging for our products, looking at how much the synthetic brands are charging for their prices. I think that's a better question.
Yeah, well, and that's 100%. Like rose oil, for example, it's $11,000 US a litre for pure rose oil, and
our rose oil
is $11. So they're not comparable in product quality or type.
Wow. And why do you think that these big brands have gotten away with it for so long?
I think it's just perfumery has been around for thousands of years, and I think it really was an ancient art form, and it really was an intergenerational family secret that is phenomenal and absolutely a craft. However, that hasn't kept up with modern technology, which is now able to replicate that. So I think it's just been a historical evolution around it.
I think it's slowly coming into fragrance now too. We've seen it do it with makeup. We're seeing it with skincare. We're seeing it with cleaning products. And now I think it's fragrance's time to shine. So I think we're at the forefront of this next movement that's coming through, and we're proud to be standing by what we've started the business for and leading from the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you've started in Australia from such a small team, just yourselves, and you're growing at an exponential rate.
And our marketing team.
We started with just us.
So I know you're looking to go into an international market. Where do you even begin?
So we signed US distribution, which was really exciting. So we had some interest, for some major US retailers, and we signed US distribution. Our product has only recently landed in the US for that, which is really exciting. So that's the beginning of our journey, and it's part of the reason that we're doing this cap raise as well, crowdsourced funding, is that we really want to make a success of that. And to do that, you need funding. That takes our business to the next level. We've already established our goodwill and our brand in Australia. We want to take that abroad. We've seen a massive demand from abroad, and we're ready to go.
We're ready to go. I think it's also important to launching in March 2020 when the whole world was shut down. Launching a new business in that period is really challenging. So what we've managed to achieve post-COVID, post-coming out of that lockdown is amazing. US distribution, our demand has gone through the roof for our products. That consumer awareness is growing. The hype is real, as they say, and it's just onwards and upwards. It's such an exciting time for Vahy and to see where we can go because, again, we've stood by it from the start. We're passionate, we're energetic, and it's a really exciting chapter.
Yeah,
forward.
The US. Why the US and not other countries?
So the US has a really similar audience to Australia in that they really appreciate authenticity. They really appreciate 100% natural products. They really appreciate effective products. And so it was a really natural extension for us to go there. And we also just saw the demand coming from there as well in an inbound way. So that was the reason behind it.
I think at the first expo we went to as well, post-lockdown, because we couldn't get anywhere, the response we had at this expo from the US audience was massive. It was just, and signing US distribution out of that, it just shows that there is a huge demand for our product over there. So it seemed like a natural fit to move straight to America.
Yeah, and we also have seen that in Europe as well. So we're in negotiations at the moment with over 10 other countries for distribution. So
amazing!
Very exciting.
But
Can you give me a little insight?
No,
Next
confidential
frontier.
and
I think
confidence.
we can give it a little bit. It starts
Okay.
with G and ends in Lobel.
I love it. Yes.
I thought you were going to say Germany for a minute. I was like, what?
No, I love it. It's so exciting at the end of the day to see it go to such great heights in such a short space of time. I'm sure for you guys it's felt long, but for a lot of business founders it is so long and arduous and it's such hard work, but you must be so proud to see where you began versus where you are now. But I want to know, what was the biggest mistake you've made and what have you learned from it?
How long do we have?
Where do we start?
No, to be honest, I do think it would be the sample sets for us would be our biggest mistake. So when we first launched, Anna and I are visual beings, and there's a big design element in all of our products. You know, we source our glass from France and it's beautifully curated and it's all very stylish. And we didn't understand when we first launched the R&D aspect of and the quality control aspect of packaging, and we got these gorgeous little 1 ml droppers to be our sample sets that were like unlike anything you've ever seen. Normally they're just those little sprays. And we realised why no one else was using them because to keep fragrance in an oil dropper, it doesn't, it just evaporates. And then they were also loosening because it was a disaster.
We went for beauty over personality where we should have probably gone for
And so we had to recall them all, and then we now launch with these fantastic vials. But it was a really big learning lesson on quality control and on checking everything, not just the formula and the fragrance and the longevity. It was actually testing every aspect of your packaging.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt. I'm sure you put a lot of time, energy, money.
Especially when you first launch as well, because how good would that money have been in marketing or something else?
I think too, after 4 years too of Centrelink, you're so excited to launch your product, and then you're launching in line with COVID, and then you launch with sample sets that are defective, and you're like, oh my goodness, could this get any worse? So hence the blood, sweat and tears.
Yeah, I bet. And in terms of your marketing strategy, what were the first things that you wanted to target? Were you focusing on influencer marketing, digital advertising, out-of-home marketing? Where were you trying to focus your energy?
I think it was at the start, it was just a lot of brand awareness, so a lot of influencer marketing back in 2020. That's where we really tried to focus, but also our key focus was getting our story out there and getting that we're 100% natural out there, because it's a really key point of difference to us that we can genuinely say we're 100% natural. No other brands can really say that.
Yeah.
Well, they can, but they can not be telling the truth potentially too.
Absolutely. It was a hybrid of marketing and education.
Do you find that really frustrating to see brands that aren't being genuine and aren't being transparent and nobody is pulling them up on it?
Daily, I see, because I get every perfume ad that there's ever been in the world hit at me, and we see it absolutely daily. And it is frustrating, but I think in the long term you always get found out. If you build your brand on foundations that are cracked, it'll always come out, whether it's now or later. So,
and we're seeing that in the US now too, with Mocha being introduced, that people are becoming... Oh, sorry, I thought the volume had gone there.
I hit it with my knee. Sorry, you might need to cut that bit.
People are with MOCRA, the Modernisation of Cosmetic Regulation Act, coming into America. We're slowly going to start seeing this shift.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
exciting.
And so, on that point, they're now for the first time ever, fragrance brands have to disclose their ingredients and their formulations to the regulator in the US, which we think is step one before you then have to disclose to the consumers.
It's pretty unbelievable. I mean, at Birchal, we work with a lot of medicinal cannabis companies, and it's so highly regulated because it is going into people's bodies.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't this be regulated?
Exactly.
Fragrance ends up in your bloodstream, and synthetic mustaches end up in your breast tissue and your fat tissue.
And your umbilical cord of unborn babies. Like, there's so many places. Like, Kate and I bang our heads against the wall when we see, these other brands doing this false advertising, or that this industry isn't regulated. And we're going, it comes back to one thing. We need more consumer awareness. We need the people to educate themselves on what these what fragrance and what synthetic fragrance is doing to your health.
It's terrifying. And honestly, you can see it in my face because I cannot control my facial expressions, but I'm horrified.
Yeah. And
do you see that from people every day, that they are horrified? I mean, pregnant women are told that they can't use Botox, eat a runny egg yolk. Yeah. But then they're putting these
synthetic fragrance all over themselves.
Yeah, they might be lighting a candle that's got synthetic fragrance. They're breathing it in.
Yeah.
How is this allowed?
It's a question we ask every single day, Em. So it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. And again, we hope we're at the forefront of this change. As Kate said at the start of this conversation, people used to put lead on their face way back when, or bleach their face, or whatever. And we think we're at the forefront of this change, and we just need some push and some drive. And such an exciting part to where there's been many times along this journey where we've thought, my gosh, this is so hard. This is so challenging. It's so hard saying 100% true to what we believe in. But I look back and go, thank gosh we have, because times are changing and there's a shifting in the guard, and we're going to be at the front of it. So, it's exciting.
It's interesting because you see a lot of business founders utilising the word pioneering.
Yeah.
You actually kind of are. You're here at the front of it before everybody else, making sure that people are aware of their choices and what they're consuming. Not from, just orally.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody kind of considers when they think of it. They don't consider the fact that their body is actually metabolizing what goes onto their skin.
Exactly. And it goes as far as, we've got a really exciting pipeline of products as well in terms of body lotion, body wash, everything.
Amazing.
People putting body lotions with synthetic fragrance on, it's just going straight into their skin. There's so many layers to this, and we're just hopeful that we can continue to pioneer the industry at the forefront and change this and change what people accept as okay.
Yeah, you've actually just started my next question. What do the next few years look like for Vahy in terms of your trajectory? Like, where do you see your product development going? What do you want to introduce to the market?
You go, Kate. Sorry.
Well, we've recently signed hotel amenities license deal, so we're going into the scented hotel space in a really big way at the moment, which is really exciting. So that will bring into our range body washes, body lotions, where we've finished R&D on those products, which is very exciting. We've also got car fragrance coming that's in R&D, which is very exciting. And an amazing, highly secret floral scent launching as well.
I'm trying to also push. I've got 4 rescue dogs, Em. I'm really I'm trying to push a dog range, but I've got to get past one co-founder first.
I'm for it.
I think there's a market there for it.
I think so too. A natural dog range.
Yeah, people
genuinely
spend a lot of money on their pets.
Oh, don't I know it?
Yep. You know it the absolute most. It's so exciting to think about just how many possibilities there are in terms of what products you can come out with and the users that you are serving. So you're doing an equity crowdfunding round. What does it mean to you to bring new shareholders into the business, and how will that influence your decision making in the future?
It's sort of the same as it's been historically. So we've always done everything that we do by our customer demand, whether that's picking certain retailers to go into, whether that's new product development. Even when we do new scents, we put out polls to our audiences, we ask questions, we keep logs of all the feedback we got requesting for certain types of scents and varieties. And so it's just actually now bringing those people in that we already reach out to almost daily into the business to help with those, decision making and to have that ownership in something that they've helped create in any event.
Yeah, I think that's why we're seeing such great growth to is because we have that customer involvement we've had it from the start. We really care about what our audience wants, what they want to see next, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And for consumers, what is the key thing that you wish they knew about your business?
That it's founded by two really great girls.
No, we've got the grit and perseverance to get there, and we think that you can be at the forefront of change. Like Anna mentioned, that I think in the future it's inevitable. It'll come out that these ingredients are in these products. The big brands will have to reformulate them out, and we're already there and ready to go and transparent and authentic. And I think that will hold us in good stead in the future.
Did you guys bring any products in? I wonder if we can show our viewers on YouTube.
I'll have my fingerprints all over it, but
I'm sure it'd be great for everybody to see. So I am a big packaging buff. Is this how the bloggers do it?
Oh God, I should have. Can I polish it off a bit first?
I think that the packaging means a lot to people at the end of the day.
Yeah,
it definitely does to me. Feel free to give it a little polish.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're really careful. Every aspect has been really carefully curated. We've got our French glass because glass made elsewhere can often have lint that leaks into the product and affects the inside of the fragrance. We've got our apothecary style lids, and our beautiful black glass is there to protect the natural ingredients as well.
It's so stunning. I'm going to hold these up to the camera so that everybody can see them.
You've got to put your hand behind it.
This is.
I've learned a lot from influencers in the last few years. Em, you've got to put your hand behind it.
Okay, like this. Am I doing it right?
Look, I'm not the one, but from what I've observed, yes.
Okay, grand. So, obviously, the aesthetics are a really big part of the brand. You've got aesthetics, you've got sustainability, you've got natural. How do you keep all of these things at the forefront of your brand?
I think when you're very authentically passionate about what you do, it kind of comes quite easily. We consider every single component. We never go to market with something that we're not 100% really sure on. So it's again, it comes back to what Kate said a lot earlier in the conversation, is being authentic and being passionate and believing in what you do. I think it just comes naturally.
Yeah, I think chatting with you guys, I find that it's very easy. You're both very genuine people, and it's really clear that you care not only about your product and your business, but about your consumers, and they're at the forefront of it. Having these new investors on board, they're going to be your greatest advocates, your best brand ambassadors at the end of the day. What kind of opportunities are there for shareholders to get involved in the business and, direct the decisions like you've had with your consumers in the past? Yeah, so,
for the first bit, we've never ever opened up for equity or crowdfunding before. So it's really very exciting for us to have, this group of people that we can then rely on and can be part of the business. And as you said, our biggest advocates. So for us, it will be them being a soundboard with, new product developments, keeping them in the loop with everything that we're going through and getting up to, and all the exciting opportunities that, come in almost on a daily basis at the moment. So we're keeping them in the loop. They'll be the first to know, and they'll also, form part of our VIPs of Vahy, which is very exciting.
No, it's so huge. So one of the burning questions I think that we have is, why are women turning away from synthetic fragrances and going towards more of a natural path?
So we find that a lot with our brand. People are coming on, and one of the key drivers is hormonal health. People are becoming more and more aware with fertility issues, with hormone regulation issues, with anxiety issues, what they're putting in and on their body, and they're having a huge audit of themselves. And more naturopaths in particular actually driving customers to us saying, fragrance is a big unknown. Strip that out of your life and wear the next best. Wear the 100% natural version that's got all its ingredients listed, so you can be very acutely aware of what you're putting into your bloodstream.
It's also that kind of gap that the amount of women in particular that come to us and say, I don't really wear fragrance because of X, Y, Z. We're also that stop above. We're not an essential oil as such, a single essential oil. We're a fine fragrance that the benefits of the essential oil in many ways.
100%. And how we do that as well is we've got these amazing patented ingredients that we use, like blue algae and these beautiful upcycled orange pills and patented clove ingredients that take elements of those natural notes out by steam distillation and other methods. So you really can get that complexity you don't get in essential oil mix. So it doesn't feel like a step down at all. Exactly. It feels like for like with your synthetic.
And we're really championing more women to really start doing an audit into what they're doing, because female health, as we know, it's become a real issue in recent times because we're layering. I can't even remember what the statistic is. We put something like 20 products on our body every single day. We are championing women to really take a deep dive, especially into their fragrance. Start with their fragrance and work back from there.
Yeah, and I hope that people listening today will take stock and, open the bathroom cupboard and have a look at what they're putting on their skin.
Exactly.
Or, that they're breathing in, even the candles that are in their home.
It's huge, yeah. Candles are a really significant one around. And there's a lot of research on this. You can go to, search hormone disruptors and synthetic fragrance and you'll get thousands of medical journals on it. So it's not an unknown. You just have to start looking.
I think it's also, we do like to go on and on and on because we're very passionate about this. When people walk into like a big department store and they walk through the fragrance department and they get a headache, join the dots. Let's join the dots.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for shining the light on that because I know you say that it is out there, but people aren't searching.
No, and there's so much else out there as well.
Yeah,
so I get it.
Yeah.
I want to understand, just for you two, what are you most excited about with having these new shareholders on, and what will it mean for your growth trajectory? I know that you guys have, put everything into it, including your own funds in the beginning.
Yeah.
What would this mean to have the funding to really accelerate your growth? And, what you might achieve in 3 years' time, you might be able to achieve in 6 months.
I think, as you said, Kate and I bootstrapped this from the start, and having this, I hate to use this word, this community of like-minded people that care and that can see what we're trying to achieve. I think we could achieve great things. I feel like it's a explosion of everything happening at once in terms of consumer awareness, in terms of Mocha in the US, in terms of our US launch, and having everyone behind us as a team will really help us achieve great things.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of this raise is absolutely for that US launch to blow that out of the water, make it a huge success, which we know it will be. And then also we've never had a sales team before ever, so it would be for hiring a sales team, which is well in demand. We get contacted almost every single day from retailers wanting to stock us and finally have someone on board to be able to manage it and filter it and make sure, we're staying true to our ethos with our retailers and finding like-minded audiences. So that will be phenomenal for us for the growth of the business as well.
As founders and entrepreneurs, obviously you saw a gap in the market and something that you were passionate about changing. What advice would you give to others who might find a key driver to what they want to change? How do they get into business, and how would they start building their business from scratch?
I think it's really important that you've got to be passionate and believe. People can find gaps in a market anywhere, but if you're not doing it authentically and you don't believe in what you're trying to achieve, there's probably no point. There's many times along the journey that Kate and I have thought, wow, this is so hard. This is so challenging. This is really tough. But we believe in so much what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve that it's made the journey interesting, enjoyable in many ways, bittersweet.
And it's good doing it with a friend as well. Cause I feel like you've got to have a lot of grit if you're going to start a business, because there's a lot of headwinds that come your way. And being able to have each other has been massively a huge help for us. Because I think when times are tough, we can both knuckle in together and persevere. Yeah. And then when times are great, you've got someone to have some champagne with. So it's great.
We only have each other in a headlock 50% of the time. Kate is bang on. The fact that we've had, there's been many times where I've been down and thought, oh my God, this is too much, this is hard. And Kate's been like, right, let's do it, we can do this, and vice versa. We've really carried each other through it. We're a great team, and we're a great growing team with all the other members we now have of it. But being in partnership with someone has really helped. But I think always comes back to one thing for me, and that's being authentic and passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah, it's incredible. And thank you guys so much for coming on and having a chat with us. And I know that your journey will not just be inspiring to founders, but also people who want to get involved in your journey. And I really, really appreciate you giving me the time.
No, we thank you so much for the opportunity, Em. It's such an exciting time for us, and we're very excited to have everyone come along this journey with us. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.